the 1620 The Zone app, and 1620thezone.com. When 6A to 6P isn't enough, the boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen and John Schreiner.
Happy Natty Night, everybody. Welcome into the National Championship edition of the After Hours Lounge, brought to you by Bellevue University. Keep up to date with all of the championship action happening on Bellevue's campus by downloading the BU Bruins app tonight. We did not win, John. Sorry for your loss. We got a great show lined up for you. What does it mean now that Mike Eckler is gone from Nebraska? Also, Dylan Raiola is a Duck. How do those two things correlate? We'll debate. 6:15, the national title discussion happens where we talk about what it means if Miami wins tonight. Nobody's talking about the Canes. Should they feel disrespected? We'll tell you at 6:15. At 6:30, okay weekend in the NFL. Two really good games, two not so good games. Has Caleb Williams peaked? That is a question I will ask John Schreiner. Also, NFL coaching changes. A few more dominoes have fallen just since we've come on air. We'll get to that and more at 7:30. You can get a hold of the show at 402-951-1620. You can follow us on Twitter at AfterHours1620 as well. A lot has happened since the last time I was here specifically, but since we were on last, Matt Rule took to the Zach Gelb show and kind of doubled down on a few things and then shined some new light on some others. He is now kind of gone all in on this program was dead for 10 years and us making a bowl game back-to-back seasons is progress. Now, a little hard to argue that. Those things
it's progress.
Those things those things are very much true. But I was really intrigued by the way he kind of dove into the discussion around how he built things at Temple and the way he built things at Baylor and about how they started younger players and then got older, and talked about how he was openly trying to do that in Nebraska. And I brought this up a couple times, was maybe a little bit about a year late in the process with Dylan Raiola and Ja'Cory Barney and guys like that. But he talked about, and I think this is the first time I remember him talking about this, but it obviously helps that Dylan's gone to have this conversation, but he talked about Cam Ward and coming to visit. He talked about the fact that there was a lot of talk with Sam Levitt at the time. And then he had the discussion that, yes, there was a chance where Kyle McCord was actually on campus and that he could have been the guy.
Yep. And
he said he chose to go the alternative route and decided to go with a younger quarterback to try to build the way that he did things at Baylor and the way he did things at Temple. And I think there's a lot of people that to some degree are all the way out on Matt Rule at this point, or there's a lot of people that are wondering if he sold a bill of goods that weren't there. And again,
there's a certain number of people that were out on Matt Rule from day one.
Sure.
I mean, and some of them are very loud on Twitter.
Is it fair to say that he deserves a little bit of I don't know about a pass, but a wait and see because of how much the college football game had changed since he left and came back, and that he is seemingly willing to adjust?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because there's something to be said for continuity and consistency and that continuous message with the same voices. And he has made coaching changes every single year that he has been at the helm.
Sure.
Every offseason has come with significant coaching changes. Now, some of them were changes that those coaches made on their own. As far as we know,
as
far as we know, there were coaches who left on their own and others were asked to depart the premises.
Sure.
But that has happened now in every single, there has not been a consistent coaching staff from year to year in any of Matt Rule's years in Lincoln. And I think that's a hindrance. I think that's holding them back in some way, that they haven't nailed down a coaching staff that can A, all work together, and B, get along. Like it's what we see. What do we see from the best programs, right? It's like there's a general consistency from year to year. You'll have some position coaches who leave to take a coordinator job, or you'll have a coordinator who leaves occasionally to take a head coaching job, but there's not this much turnover.
Can I make the caveat or the argument that for every Tony White who left to go take we'll call it a lateral movement job, same position, just at a different school.
Yeah.
There is a Marcus Satterfield who, albeit was demoted, but chose to stay and wanted to coach with Matt Rule. For every Tony White, there's a John Butler who gets promoted from within. There's an Ed Foley
and then was asked to leave,
who stuck around and is helping on the staff, but is in a different role. Like, I don't know if that's a negative or a positive, but there's something to the fact that there are certain guys that seemingly want to stay around to work for Matt.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
We'll go to the phones, 402-951-1620. We're going to Drew. Drew, welcome into the After Hours Lounge.
Hey, they stick around because they want jobs. No one else is hiring them. All right. I don't mean to yell at you guys.
Please do. Set the tone, Drew.
I just heard half of what you were saying, and I just wanted to couple comments on Rule. To me, he's just a con man.
Okay.
He says whatever he needs to that he thinks will fly in the moment. Like the developmental programs, just an example. Nebraska has more resources than 85% of the rest of college football. Iowa State is a developmental program. And I did not know that he's trying to fly this, we're starting younger guys. He's just saying that. He's just reaching for anything. And then I'm glad you mentioned the coaches. That's on him.
It's true.
Satterfield, and who picked Jeff Sims or Jeff Lee, that the worst quarterback ever? He just grabs whatever in the moment and says it. And having to change coaches, you're right, is ridiculous, but that's on him. It's not. So I don't know. That's just I did not know he was trying to say, I did this at Baylor and Temple. He just says whatever he has to say in the moment to give himself some breathing room.
Okay, Drew, I'd be interested to know this from you. Where were you at as far as your opinion of Matt Rule when he got hired?
I liked it because he had done some real good things from what you looked at. Baylor and Temple. And I do remember at the same time I said I wanted Campbell or that Dave guy from
Dave Aranda,
guy who replaced him. It looked good on paper, but the thing that hit you after the first year was who hired this clown Satterfield and who chose that quarterback. He was the worst thing. They benched him after 3 games. And then I don't want to get too off topic, but I do want to complain.
Go ahead.
About the Purdue game, which I think ended up kind of sabotaging the whole year of a good defense that was left, veteran defense, in an easier schedule. It's 28-0 with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You just took over on downs at the 45. You have one serviceable quarterback in Harburg who's getting better week by week. 28-point lead, 9 minutes left. So I don't remember the order of this plays, but I think he ran a sprint option, got concussed, and then they did like a draw, and he got nailed again and knocked out. He was never the same after that game. And, then after the year whenever he replaced Satterfield.
You're talking about 2 years ago. Yeah.
White was solid, but when you look at the 2 run stoppers, he really didn't have anything to do with. Polar Bear and the kid from Arizona.
Yeah, Nash and Ty, sure.
And then you had a walk-on that just ended up, the kid from Prep, who ended up in the NFL. I think people kind of overestimate how good Tony White was because he stopped the run, which how could you not with those 3 guys? But one thing Tony White or Butler wasn't able to do, probably because there's not the talent, is get to the quarterback. So anyway,
it's been a major issue.
You're right with Foley, Satterfield, Butler. I mean, where's the accountability? And Yogurt boy Dannon let him do all this and then gave him an extension.
Well,
all right, I've taken enough time.
Drew, thanks.
Any other questions for me?
Drew, thanks for your time, man. Have a great night. Thanks for the call. The Dannon of it all brings me to the question that I wanted to ask to you. And I guess I'm asking, I pointed at John when I said that for me, not watching on the stream, but I want to ask, is there any part of this that gets lost in the fact that this was a Trev Alberts guy? in Matt Rule. That the vision in which Matt Rule was brought, listen, he had to execute this. To Drew's point about being con man, listen, there's between a motivator and a con man's result.
Yeah.
And that's right now, you've gotten some results from Matt Rule. I mean, you've been to back-to-back bowl games where you hadn't been in almost a decade. But I mean, listen, there's anything that Drew really said there that wasn't true. The decisions that have been made, the Bucs got to stop somewhere. And I've been very adamant about that all season, where Matt Rule has passed some of the blame this season on Dana Holgorsen and on John Butler, where he kind of passes the blame, but then puts a Band-Aid on it. Well, but I'm the head coach. And like, I agree. I'm not making excuses, and I want to be very adamant about this. That I think there was obviously a miss on Jeff Sims. But the situation in which Matt Rule came into the program, and they thought they were going to be able to get Jake Peetz to come be the quarterback coach in Lincoln. Obviously, he stays in the NFL, and I think that changed a lot of what it was going to end up looking like. Listen, that's also on Matt Rule, because then it's on you to fill that hole and fill that void, and you got to get it figured out. But he came here to a place in Nebraska where he felt he needed to surround himself with people he trusted. He knew Marcus Satterfield, and that's why he made that hire. They were trying to run him out of Clemson, South Carolina. But when you're out of Clemson, out of Columbia, South Carolina. But when you're at this level and you've had the success Matt Rule has had, specifically developing quarterbacks, look at the guys he had at Temple and the guys he had at Baylor that worked out for him. You got to feel like you could probably bring anybody in and be able to have that level of success.
Like the alarming thing to me, more than I think that at this point you can point at the record, you can point at the lack of the year 3 bump that everyone was saying was going to happen. Matt Rule was saying it was going to happen. There has to be something behind the scenes contributing to the fact that they can't have a consistent coaching staff from year to year. I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's just the fact that this is the state of college football and guys move around more often. Is Matt Rule hard to work for? Is there some sort of university policy that's making people not want to stay? I don't know. I'm not telling you that I have the answer. All I can see is the symptoms of the problem.
There's a disconnect somewhere.
And the symptoms are Nebraska hasn't won as many games as we thought they should have, given their talent level. It hasn't looked like we think it should look, given the amount of resources that they're spending on bringing in these talented players.
Well, I want to talk about that for a second, because in the Zach Gelb interview, Matt Rule brought that up specifically. It was like, we have money to go out and spend with the who's of college football. And I think it's important to point out, like, think about the amount of money that we see schools around the country throw out for buyouts.
Yeah.
So my question is, how many people don't have the money to keep up with the Joneses? Because in the Power 4 level, kind of feels like there's a pretty mass quantity of schools that can compete at that level.
Every big school's got a super rich donor that they can ping to get the money when they need it.
But if you want to talk about the differences between Bloomington and Lincoln, because obviously one of those schools is getting ready to play for the national championship tonight, and it's not the school down the road. Yes, there's the Mark Cuban of the conversation, but the difference is, if everybody's got the money, think about this. If everybody has the money, and it's the exact same amount, there's a quarterback that was here that was pretty much committed, and a blank check got thrown on the table, and he chose to go to the SEC, play for a team that hasn't had very much success either.
I mean, it's not even confirmed that it was a blank check, that it was more than Nebraska was.
But if it's the exact same dollar amount, if your options are these, if everybody wants to talk about the money and how much money's been donated and the collectives and Nebraska having this big checkbook, but if the money's the exact same across the board, because at schools like Oregon and Ohio State and Georgia and Texas and Florida and Oklahoma and down the line, and your choices are to go to one of those schools who have been to a college football playoff, have contended for championships, or come to Lincoln, where you don't know if the coaching staff is going to be the same year to year because of the conversation we're having right now.
Not sure how many games you're going to win.
And there hasn't been any proof in this system that you can win at this level. And I think a lot of that is, and I know this is something that's been beat to death over the last 2 weeks, but the inability of the last 3 coaches to go hire somebody with a footprint or an identity from the Big Ten Conference has been mind-numbing to me. Nebraska made this jump from the Big 12 to the Big Ten with a guy like Bo Pelini, who had some sentimental knowledge of what the Big Ten was. And maybe this is a little overwhelmed or a little overdone, and I think it is to some degree. But when your head coach comes in and talks about, I really appreciated what I've learned from Coach Ferentz about the weather and the elements and playing in this. And Coach Osborne told me I needed to get a big arm quarterback to throw into the wind because you can never really appreciate the wind in Lincoln until it comes to football season. And I'm a Penn State guy, but there's never been that. This guy has a proven record in the Big Ten hire from an assistant standpoint. We've never gotten that, and that just blows my mind that that's not a top of mind thing.
The footprint thing never made much sense to me because, like, in one respect, like, look at Oregon. Oregon joined the Big Ten, and they've been just winning nonstop.
Right. Proven commodity, though.
Fine, but, like, what relationship to the Big Ten footprint does anybody at Oregon have? Dan Lanning doesn't know anything about playing football in the Big Ten.
Sure, but I'm talking about it from a sense of it's not working. We have to do something else. It was working when Oregon showed up.
Sure. It was working when Nebraska first showed up. I mean, for the most part.
You don't have to join them if you're already beating them. See what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. And then look at Wisconsin. They hired Luke Fickell, who knows everything about the Big Ten footprint. Has that worked out?
Well, you can.
Hasn't.
You can make the argument that one time he was a Big Ten coach, he took the premier program in the conference to a 6-6 record. So maybe you get what you pay for.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing that worries me is that if this, like, you start a trend, right, and if that trend continues and your coaching staff is just a continuous revolving door of year after year after year, where, well, we got to try something new. This didn't work, so we got to try something new. We're gonna flip it on its head. Like, I don't like that. That doesn't feel like the way you do things. I think in college football, it is about, like, consistency and building habits and building processes and having that identity that is consistent. And when you're a constant revolving door, I don't know how you build that. And that's what it looks like right now to me on the Nebraska coaching staff. It's like this thing changes year to year. That's the identity of Nebraska, is that it's never the same. So how do you build anything?
And listen, this thing isn't just necessarily under Matt Rule. I mean, think about the turnover.
Not at all. From
Frost to Riley, and even to some degree to Bo. It's just there's a ton of question marks around it. And I think the one thing that is really going to stick in the craw of Nebraska fans is think about all the offseason questions we had this year about the defensive line, about the running backs, about the offensive line. As of right now, how many of those questions have really been answered?
I think the offensive line question could be answered.
I think the defensive line question could be too. But if you go into next season with Mekhi Nelson and Isaiah Mosey and Quentin Ives, and
maybe Connor Booth,
and you see a major regression. I'm sorry about the guys that actually played this year. You see a major regression from a guy in Emmett Johnson who was an all Big Ten caliber running back, all American caliber running back, and you see a major drop off. And they again don't go get anybody through the transfer portal. Listen, there's a guy that's playing running back tonight that I think a lot of people would like to see in Lincoln next year. And there's been some tweets about Storms to Bisons and everything in between that I think a lot of people would be happy about. But if that doesn't happen, because we can only talk about what we know now, right? If that doesn't happen, and you go in the same group of guys next year, and you can't rush the passer, and you can't stop the run, you can't run the football, and you can't protect and pass pro. I know that buyout's huge, and Drew talked about the extension, which doesn't really have any merit other than adding years to it. It's really hard to believe that you're not going to see another coaching change in Lincoln.
I think the restlessness index right now on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 5.
Okay. I would have went much higher, but okay.
Because I think it's about 50-50. I think there's about 50% of people who are still in wait-and-see mode, and there's about 50% of people who are like, yeah, this isn't working. I would say it's restlessness index to me is about at a 5. If Nebraska is 6-6 or 7-5 in the regular season next year, that jumps to an 8 real fast.
And I don't know, that schedule is tough.
I don't think it matters. I don't think anyone cares. Like the questions of
it matters
like schedule.
It matters how they lose.
But Jimmy, The fans of this program have been told for so many years that, oh, this is the schedule. This is the schedule. This is the year. This is when, like, nobody wants to hear that anymore. Like, I certainly don't want to hear about the schedule. I don't want to hear about whether the schedule is tough or easy anymore. Just like, there are plenty of teams who play tough schedules and win their games. Those are good football teams.
Yeah, Indiana's one of them.
If you're good, it doesn't matter how tough your schedule. I mean, it matters to some degree, of course, but if you're good enough, you win the games. You beat the teams in front of you. And if you have an easy schedule and you're a good football team, you beat the teams in front of you. Like, the schedule is secondary to whether or not you are actually a good and competent football program. I don't want to hear about the schedule anymore. Win games.
I want to hear about the schedule, because the Big Ten, why the hell don't we have a schedule yet? What is happening there? Like, we haven't talked about that.
We have a schedule. We don't have confirmed dates.
It's very, very weird. There's something afoot. Hey, if you missed the opening segment tonight, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com tonight. We'll be right back on the other side of the break, breaking down the national championship. Hoosiers, 8.5-point favorites. Do they cover? We tell you. We come back. 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody, it's John here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. And, baby, it's cold outside. You need to get your winter gear. And if you want to look sharp in your winter gear, the place you need to go, Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They got all the good stuff with your favorite teams, Nebraska, Creighton. Plus, you know what's coming around the corner? Wedding season. You need a new suit. Let me tell you where you go to get it. Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. That's at 78th and Dodge. They're going to give you an excellent fitting experience. You're going to walk out of there with a suit that fits you great. It's going to look good on you, and it's going to turn heads when you walk into that dance hall for the first wedding of the wedding season come springtime. Don't skimp. Get the goods. Get to 78th and Dodge. Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
Your Omaha area forecast from KETV Newswatch 7.
Skies become mostly cloudy tonight. There is a chance we can see the northern lights if the cloud's thin enough. Eventually low temperature down to around 10. And mostly cloudy for Tuesday. A little chilly with high temperatures in the low to mid 30s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ramby from KETV Newswatch 7.
Rail Cars Happy Hour is here. Stop by 144th and Blondo Monday through Saturday from 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 2 to close, and enjoy $2 to $5 off appetizers, $1 off draft and bottles of beer, and delicious ciders. All signature cocktails are $10. Classic cocktails are $8. And every glass of wine is $2 off. Plus, Rail Car's incredible brunch menu is on display 9:30 to 2 Saturday and Sunday. Rail Car Modern American Kitchen, 144th and Blondo.
Hey Jays fans, it's hoop season and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
AX Plumbing has the cold weather deals. So if your hot water isn't so hot anymore, you can't afford to pass up on these deals. Tankless water heaters are $450 off. Traditional water heaters are $200 off. And for those real hard water problems, water softeners are $300 off. Stop by AXP Service tonight and fix your water heater before it gets too cold outside. AX Plumbing. We'll leave your home or your business cleaner than we found it.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
$6:25 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. Keep up to date on all the championship action happening on Bellevue's campus by download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. John Schreiner, Jimmy Allen, Dan Campinen with you here this evening. You know what else is happening tonight? There's a game of great significance happening in Miami, Florida this evening.
What?
Miami, in a home game scenario in the national championship,
This is fun.
Is an 8.5 point underdog.
Everybody wants campus games for the playoffs, so here we go.
I'm here for it. I think. Listen, get rid of the bull, kill the Bulls. I don't need to see the sunset of the San Gabriels anymore. Like I said, it could still happen if UCLA.
Yeah, you can still play the Rose Bowl.
Long shot, but yeah, sure.
I think at least the first 2 rounds should be on campus.
The national championship game is a home game for one of the teams. That team is more than a touchdown underdog tonight.
Because the other team's a wagon.
Indiana has beaten Alabama and Oregon by an average of 34.5 points.
Is that a lot?
Their last 3 wins have come over Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State. Outside of Georgia and Clemson, Indiana's basically ran the gamut of the who's who of the last decade to get here. And they've done it in dominating fashion. Now, listen, they've got to finish the story, and they've got to be able to close out and win tonight. But there was such a narrative around the NIL era being able to distance the haves from the have-nots. To further Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Notre Dame, Ohio State, fill in the blank, blue blood program with all the money.
I always thought it was silly, that argument, by the way.
I'll give you your flowers here in a minute. But this has really led way to more the Texas Techs than the Indianas. Like I think Indiana's also the perfect storm. I think they hired the right guy, and because listen, it's not like they got a bunch of 5-star guys.
Nope.
They don't have any. They don't have a single 5-star guy on this roster.
0. They don't have too many 4s
7.
either.
They have 7 4-star players. If Indiana wins the national championship tonight, they will be the furthest blue chipper program away from a player standpoint, let alone a blue blood standpoint.
They break the metrics. Honestly, they do. Because what the metric is, like a 4-year rolling average, you have to have at least one class that's in the top. I think it's the top 5. You have to have a top 5 recruiting class in a 4-year span to win a national title. That's been the metric.
And I think there's 6 first-round guys eventually on that team as well. Has been one of the other ones. Indiana might have 2, maybe.
Mendoza's probably
going number 1. The right tackle will probably be, or right guard will probably be a top 32 guy.
Pat Coogan, you think?
He's probably a second-round guy.
Surratt's probably a back-end first-round receiver.
I think he'll fall in the second round too. But anyway, is this, in your opinion, is this more the NIL era, the transfer portal era, or something of a combination of all of the above?
Yeah, this Indiana program right now is a unicorn because nobody turns it around this fast. Nobody goes from the losingest program in college football to national championship in 2 years. That doesn't
matter what sport.
It doesn't happen. And like Dan and I talked about this on Thursday. It's almost like it's good and bad at the same time, because it's good because it shows that teams that were further down the pecking order can absolutely turn it around and start running with the big dogs in a hurry. But it also creates unrealistic expectations because nobody has ever done this, and we don't know if anybody else will ever do this again. Like, could Purdue do this?
So that's where I was about to go with this, because obviously Purdue.
Could Kentucky do this?
But hold on, I think Purdue is an interesting standpoint, though, because they are clearly Indiana's biggest rival, right? On paper. But if you're Barry Odom, the new head coach at Purdue, and you've got this going on right across the state, and you're looking at your facilities, and I'm going to say it, the crappiest field in all of Power 4, and you've got to sell West Lafayette, and you don't have a Mark Cuban-esque donor, you've got to be messing the bet a little bit, right? Like, to be able to try to keep up with these Joneses, I think this is much worse than a well, maybe not a Vanderbilt to Tennessee, but close. I mean, Vanderbilt at least has had some sentiment of success. Like, Purdue has been dead since Drew Brees walked off campus.
Alabama, Auburn. I mean, you could make that one.
Yeah, but Auburn's at least had the Cam Newtons and
Sure, but they've been down for a while now.
Sure, but they've been down for a while. Purdue has been down forever.
Sure, but my question is like look at the bottom feeders in the SEC. Like, Indiana was a Big Ten bottom feeder.
Yeah, arguably the Big Ten bottom feeder.
Like, could Kentucky turn it around this fast? I don't think they can. Like, I don't think it's possible.
I think it'd be easier because they've got a pretty big checkbook in Lexington. And listen, Bloomington did too with the basketball program, but like, there's money and then there's SEC money,
But
right?
my point here is that Indiana is a complete outlier.
Agreed.
Like, this just doesn't happen. So if you're a fan of a program, let's say Wake Forest,
Sure.
not happening. But Wake Forest and Indiana were like on equal footing just a couple of years ago, pretty much. Like, Wake Forest might have been better.
Yeah, I agree. That's one half of the narrative. How do we feel about this Curt Cignetti team? They come out and they lose tonight. There's I think he's 41-year-old quarterback. How old's Carson Beck now? He's like 26.
He's in his 7th year.
Yeah, and this is the team that's not supposed to be here too. So to some degree, they've been playing with house money up until this point. Now, I want to be very clear about this. I think Indiana wins, and Indiana wins walking away. But there is a possibility that Miami could come out and shock the world tonight. That writes a different narrative, not only because it's not the team that hasn't been waxing everybody, but this is also a Power 4 team that doesn't win its conference championship, that kind of backdoored its way into the conversation in the first place with a quarterback that is a 7th-year player
who Georgia didn't want anymore.
This is a really interesting dynamic of teams for all the right reasons that when you expand to 12 teams, you were hoping to get. And I think this is like, listen, we can get at a big idea, man, Tony Petitti and everything that he's got cooking about the conversation about expanding the playoffs if we want to. But I think this year is the perfect narrative behind the we need more teams argument. I don't agree. I've been very adamant. I love the 12-team playoff. I think it is the perfect number. I don't want them to go to more teams. But if you ever needed a night to go your way to have that argument,
you want Miami to win.
Miami is probably Tony Petitti's probably sitting in a Hurricanes jersey with a big chain around his neck.
Yeah,
right
if Miami wins, I guess it does make a pretty good case for an expanded playoff. Because look, I think in the old college football pre-NIL, it made no sense to have a 16-team playoff.
Agreed.
Because all the talent was concentrated into the hands of a few schools. And we saw so many blowouts, even in the 4-team playoff era. Like, it was clear from year to year. Like, from the outset, you could almost predict, like, it's going to be this team and this team and this team, and then somebody else that's going to get their head kicked in. And that
usually
your Final Four.
Usually Oklahoma.
Right? Today, like, NIL has changed this landscape to such a degree because you can go to, let's say, Florida and be the 7th highest paid player at the University of Florida, or you can go to Iowa State and be their top paid guy.
Yep.
Like, and this is always the way I thought it was eventually going to shake out. Yes, the bigger schools have more money to spread around, but college football players, the good ones, are competitive. And what do they not want to be? Second place to anybody.
Yep.
And so it makes a difference when you're talking about this guy can be the top paid guy at this school or the 7th paid guy at this school. The dollars may be equal, but he's number 1 over here. And that little nugget makes a difference to some guys.
The other thing that I think gets lost about last year's national championship game, because it was Ohio State and Notre Dame, I think people forget that it was the 7th and the 8th seed that made the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
This year, the 10 seed makes its way in.
And the 1.
Well, but it's also Indiana, though, right? So it's like a different name on the front of the jersey. But
they're still the only team to win a game after having a bye.
I just think that it becomes really intriguing, the discussion about opening it up, because I think it's only a matter of time until we get to 16. And
yes,
you know
I think it's going to 16.
Do you know what that means? More people are going to get more money. You know what happens when more people get more money? They usually want some more money. So it's eventually going to get to 20. I believe that it is only a matter of time until we get to 24. And I think it's going to take.
Well, the FCS does 24.
But I think it's going to take more of a concrete idea for it to get to 24 rather than I want my 4 teams in, which is the Big Ten's approach.
Yeah. Yeah. 24.
24 is too many.
While I think it would be fun because more football.
Yeah. I'm here for it.
16 kind of feels right. It's a balanced playoff. Everybody plays every week.
Sure. And I think, and we talked about this off air, but I think that's where you get the 2 home games. Was that on there? I can't remember.
Yeah, I said
right
I think at least the first 2 rounds should be at home. But yeah, this is interesting because it is 2 teams that, by all rights, for various different reasons and circumstances, shouldn't be here, right? Like Indiana, by virtue of their name, should not be here.
As the Heisman Trophy winner and the number 1 overall seed.
In Miami, by virtue of not even playing for their conference title, shouldn't be here, but here we are. Like this is the world we live in now. And like that's what always makes the NFL playoffs so fun. Is
Everybody
like
gets a shot.
The team with the best record in the regular season isn't necessarily going to win the whole thing. And
I think they are, but we'll get to that in the next
it
week.
matters. Like the regular season matters because it determines your positioning and what your path is, but it doesn't always mean that you're going to win.
They really just show where Fernando Mendoza's house is in Miami.
Yes, they did.
They did. They gave.
That seems like a really bad idea.
They gave
I think
you
one of
a
the
direct map to it.
One of the few things that I think has also been a little bit lost in especially what they're going into right now, the Fernando Mendoza's from Miami. He could have gotten recruited by Miami, but they didn't want to recruit him. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. His dad played with Mario Cristobal when he was in high school. I think everything that we've lost from a narrative standpoint is the fact that if Indiana wins tonight, when they probably win tonight, they'll only be the second undefeated team throughout the entire season to win a national championship.
Since the playoffs.
Yeah.
No, since forever. The only other team that went perfect all throughout their regular season and the quote unquote championship game is Yale in 1894. There's always been one blemish on someone's record.
Dan, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Are you talking about like in a true national championship form, like in the BCS or the college football playoff?
I'm talking about in a 100% pure national championship form.
Okay. That makes sense because obviously in the voting era, you had many, but yeah, in a true national. Okay.
Back when it was like head to head.
Yes. The other thing like about this tonight, we talked about it being a de facto home game for Miami. Like there's going to be a lot of people, specifically in the Cuban market and that Miami metro area, that are going to be in this quorum of, do I root for the hometown team or do I root for the hometown kid that's on the other sideline? That's going to be, I'm really like, they're showing the crowd right now. And it's pretty predominantly orange and green.
Well, no kidding.
But listen, I think there's going to be some people even in attendance that are Miami residents that are going to be rooting for Fernando Mendoza. I think that's going to be a thing tonight.
Maybe his family.
I can say, how hard is it though? Because Miami is,
I don't know, man. Look at that end zone. That's a lot of red.
But
I think this is going to be pretty well divided.
Miami's the hometown team with also,
we
forget it, the hometown coach.
You have to remember how many people actually care about Miami football in Dade County, though. It's not a great number.
Well, the Dolphins aren't really playing right now.
Fair.
So.
They like Miami when they're winning.
That's true.
When they're not, that stadium is a 16th full.
You want to give a prediction for the score tonight?
I have Indiana 34, Miami 20.
Dan?
42-24 Indiana.
I have it 42-24 Indiana as well. So that is the Hoosiers and the over, by the way. There was also some professional football played this week, and we'll get into all of that and more. If you missed our thoughts on the national title game night, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by the Ideal Date Night Experience. You want to get out for the national championship? Just get out and enjoy the night. Do so at Pasta More. Stop by Rockbrook Village tonight. They've been hand-making pasta for over 50 years right there on site to make sure that your date night or just your day is full of pasta and your belly is full of wine by the time you leave. You want the best date night experience in the Metro? Stop by Pasta More in Rockbrook Village tonight. Can the Broncos win the Super Bowl with Jared Stidham? We debate. The other side of the break. 1620 Zone.
Hey, everybody, it's John here for Bob at Williams Law. Last Thursday, Bob came in and talked about some really detailed information, gave us the breakdown of what the penalties are for certain situations with the scandal involving betting in college basketball. He knew the potential sentences that people could serve. He knew the punishments. He knew the ins and the outs of the case. And Bob has nothing to do with it. He's got a great legal mind. And if you have legal questions, he can sit down with you for a free, no obligation legal consultation and explain your specific legal situation, whether it's criminal, civil, or personal, in terms that you are going to understand. And that's key, because when you walk into the courtroom, one of the things you want is peace of mind and confidence that you know what's about to go down. That's going to set your mind at ease, and you're going to be set up for success no matter what that situation is. If you got legal questions, you need Bob in your corner. Check out WilliamsLawLLC.com.
If you're looking for an authentic Italian experience, look no further than Pasta Amore. For 4 decades, Pasta Amore has been keeping the spark alive for couples in the Omaha area with their homemade pasta, made fresh every day. Our hand-picked selection of exceptional wines will put the nightcap on your evening that you expect. Open every day at 4. Stop by Pasta Amore in Rockbrook Village and enjoy dining in a romantic dining room or relax on our shaded patio.
Everyone at Controlled Comfort hopes you had a very Merry Christmas. But that doesn't mean that the gift giving has to stop. Get a full system for $3,000 off retail price. Get ready for the Nebraska summer heat now. Call Controlled Comfort.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Hey, Jays fans, it's hoop season, and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Winter may slow pests down, but it's the perfect time to prepare your home for spring. Rodents, spiders, and other pests often show up indoors this time of year. A winter pest control checkup helps seal entry points now so you're not dealing with pests when warmer weather hits. At Recon Pest Services, we're proud to be a local company and supporting causes that make Omaha better. If you're looking for a pest control partner or even support for a cause, think Recon. Visit ReconPestServices.com and get your home ready for a pest-free spring.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
.644 on the After Hours Lounge here on a Monday night, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you're looking for the ideal college experience this winter, head over to bellevue.edu and register for classes tonight. Yeah,
Captain's got his prediction, and he says 28-24 Indy.
Ooh, close game, says the night shift manager. Lots of close games in the NFL this weekend. Lots of not so close games in the NFL this weekend. I knew my team was already eliminated after the first 13 seconds of the football game. Opening kickoff for 49ers Seahawks goes back for a touchdown. I was tweeting about this weekend. I'm going to say it on air, and it's going to age well. Take this to the bank. We're going to be talking about the greatness of this Seahawks defense for a long, long time. This is one of the best defenses I've ever seen.
It's a throwback to the Legion of Boom days.
For sure.
I was saying it last week. Like, it's a good football team. Mike McDonald's got a good unit. Like, they don't really have any weaknesses. Like, Sam Darnold's playing pretty well.
They run the football well.
They can run the football. The defense is nasty. They're good on special teams. Like, they're going to be tough to beat. Like, I don't think the Rams going into that environment, like those two played 2 bangers this season.
It's going to be another good one too.
It's going to be a good game. I don't think Seattle's losing at home.
I don't think Seattle's losing.
Nah.
I think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
It wouldn't be a huge surprise to me after the way that they handled the 49ers so quickly.
Again,
oh my gosh, I was very confused when we arrived at the lovely Omaha, Nebraska eatery that we spent our time at on Saturday night. And I said,
like you're not giving out free plugs.
And I said, hey, why is there already 7 points on the board? And the guy behind the bar turned around and he just went opening kickoff, returned for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, it's going to be one of those nights.
Jimmy decided to go downstairs and watch the rest of the game on YouTube TV on mute while he was doing some video editing because he already knew how that was going. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. It's been a great debate over the last couple of 12 hours or so. Catch, no catch, interception. How do you see it?
It's tough. I think it's a catch. I think there's simultaneous possession, and when there's simultaneous possession,
tie goes to the runner.
Tie goes to the offensive player. So this is what it looks like to me, that there's simultaneous possession when both players hit the ground. I think they made the wrong call.
See, I'm on the other side of the fence, and I thought Gene Tessitore gave the perfect description of why.
Gene Steratore.
What did I say? Tessitore?
Tessitore.
Wrong guy. Two guys. One guy's official, one's not. He mentioned that if he goes to the ground and there's not a defender there and he loses the ball, is it still a catch? No. He has to maintain through the catch.
Right, but there is a defender there who was also possessing the ball with him at the same time.
But
we can offer the counterfactual, but
you have to maintain. You have to maintain throughout. And who came up with the ball? And to me, that's the way it comes out. Is who came up with it? And I thought it was an interception.
Okay, so all weekend. So this has been, and shout out to DB on a different show, who has been pointing out the down by contact.
Daniel Butcher.
Yes, Daniel Butcher, famous Omaha radio personality. Yeah. Daniel Butcher.
Well, the other guy's not a radio personality. Oh, I guess he still is technically.
Yeah.
Shout out to Damon Benning. We'll get
Damon Benning. We'll
Dick Butkus.
I was like, who are we allowed to give free plug to? Damon Benning has been arguing back and forth with people all weekend on Twitter about the quote
has he? I haven't seen this
down
everywhere.
by contact rule in the NFL. And so that's my case for it was, if you want to kind of hang your hat on this down by contact, then technically the Bills receiver is down by contact, because when you watched the slow-mo version of the clip,
but in that theory, the Des Bryant catch was a catch because there was a defender there that made contact with him. Like this is what I keep going back to. We've been having this debate for 12 years now. The
difference is, in the Des Bryant catch, the ball touched the ground. The ball hit the ground.
Right, but by the rule you're talking, he would have been down, and in the possession he was being touched by a defender. Therefore, would have been down inbounds, and it wouldn't have mattered if he dropped the ball. In this case, the Bills player dropped the ball. It just happened to end up in a Denver Broncos player's hands.
But that's the difference. He didn't drop the ball. He had possession on both tips of the football. The other guy had his hand underneath it.
You haven't seen the other angle. It moves. The ball moves.
The ball does not move.
The ball definitely moves. Go back and rewatch it. I'll bet you $1 million.
This is going to be the Buffalo Bills Zapruder film.
No, listen. I was rooting for the Bills, so this is my non-biased opinion. I wanted to see Josh Allen win this football game. I think it was undoubtedly an interception in my mind. This was going to be my closing argument take of the night, and then I started doing more and more research about it. I was going to say that C.J. Stroud has peaked. I think after this weekend, it's not even debatable at this point. And let me rephrase that. This is going to be my closing argument last Thursday when I thought
he has not looked good in the playoffs at all. Like, they have won. They won their first playoff game in spite of CJ Stroud. Like, and I said last week, like, I like Houston, but they're sloppy. Like, they're so loose with the football, and a large part of that blame goes on the quarterback's shoulders because of the way he has just chucked it around the yard.
Yeah.
And specifically to the other team.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of flack because his team lost for throwing 4 picks. Drake may put the ball on the ground 4 times.
Yeah.
Too, so it's not like he played a perfect game by any stretch.
I don't want to say that he's peaked, because I think, like, we see this sometimes where a rookie quarterback comes out and he has a real hot start. Then teams start to figure him out. There's tape on him. He still has plenty of time to go back into the lab and figure out like what he needs to do to get back to the way he was playing as a rookie. So I'm not ready to say he's peaked, but there are some alarm bells going off.
Well, that franchise has some decisions to make.
They do,
because his contract is up. And how often do we see teams pick coaches over players? And that kind of feels like where Houston is leaning right now. Is I don't see him firing DeMeco Ryans anytime soon. But with that being said,
man can build a defense.
But his seat's going to start getting. This is the repercussions of winning. Like you've set the expectations now, and if you're not able to get, it's a Mike Tomlin effect. If you're not able to overcome what you've set as the expectation, you're probably going to get fired. And listen, he built that team up from nothing, and there's going to be a large group of people out there, probably mainly in Houston, Texas, that say, well, how much is the defensive head coach hindering our one-time offensive rookie of the year?
I'll tell you what, if they decide to move on from DeMeco Ryans, going to be a bunch of other teams who are lining up.
He will be unemployed for exactly 18 seconds.
Yep.
This is a little bit more of a question for me, but I want to get your thoughts on it. But San Francisco's window closed?
Closed? No, not at all.
With this group?
No, I don't think so. You didn't like that team had so many injuries.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to get healthy.
A damn power plant.
I think they've got a couple of more years left. Like I think
George Kittle's 32.
He's 30. Right, but tight ends can play a little bit longer than running backs can. McCaffrey is like starting to get toward the end of the shelf life, but I think you can milk a couple more years out of him.
That dude has any tread left on the tires.
If they make some good either free agency or draft acquisitions at wide receiver, I think getting those pieces back on
Thank
defense.
God we gave Brandon Ayuk all that money that I really wanted them to give to him last year. You remember how happy I was about that?
They get the defense healthy and maybe add a piece or two there through free agency or the draft. I think this team can be right back next year, like right back to it.
Yeah, they're not a teardown. They're just a retooling at this point.
They just need to get healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
please.
always going to be pretty dangerous, I think, as long as they can keep some of those pieces healthy and in the game.
If you got Kyle Shanahan calling the offense, your team's dangerous. I don't care who you are.
Man, I'd love to agree with you guys. It just kind of feels like they've regressed a little bit each season since the last Super Bowl. And it feels like it's going to head on that trajectory. And we got kickoff in Miami. We'll keep you up today on what's going on in that game. We'll debate more about the NFL and finish up the first hour of the After Hours Lounge. If you missed any of the first hour, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. Did you notice the negative temperatures today? Hopefully you notice them outside. If you notice them inside, it's a little too late. Oh, that's not true. It's never too late. Break glass in case of emergency. Head over to controlledcomfort.com right now. Get a maintenance appointment set up and have your big-time HVAC problems fixed and your questions answered by a comfort technician at Controlled Comfort. We'll be right back. On the other side of the break, what's trending on social media and why is Dan camping and wearing a hat? 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody. John Schreiner here for Paul Davis Restoration. We have hit that time of year when it can happen to anybody. Yep, the pipe can break. And you know what that means? You got water in the basement. You got ice problems. You got a big, big mess. And if that happens to you, call this number, 402-553-0373. Paul Davis, emergency response team, will be to your house in a flash and getting that damage fixed and getting your home back to the way it was before it happened. Don't put it all on yourself. Don't worry. Just call the number, 402-553-0373. You need mold mitigation, you got smoke damage, water damage, whatever it is, Paul Davis can get you fixed up. Give him a call today.
Life is unpredictable, with seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner. You can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
AX Plumbing has the cold weather deals. So if your hot water isn't so hot anymore, you can't afford to pass up on these deals. Tankless water heaters are $450 off. Traditional water heaters are $200 off. And for those real hard water problems, water softeners are $300 off. Stop by AXP Service tonight and fix your water heater before it gets too cold outside. AX Plumbing. We'll leave your home or your business cleaner than we found it.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win. When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
6:57 on a championship Monday night. It's always a championship when you're inside the After Hours Lounge. I don't know what you're playing for, but it's always a win when you're here. We're brought to you by Bellevue University, where teams keep winning all season long. Head over to bellevue.edu or download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone. Keep up to date on all the championship action.
Miami's already punting
on Bellevue's campus tonight. Bellevue's not playing Miami. The Indiana Hoosiers are at 0-0 with under 13 minutes to go. And the Natty, Dan Campion, why are you wearing a hat tonight?
My hair was looking weird earlier after I took it off for like the second time of the day. So I said, I'm just going to keep it on.
I just told people I'd tell them that, so that's why.
Well, of course, I knew that question was coming.
I would deliver for them.
I had a prepared response.
Many are asking. People were wondering.
Also, to hide the bald spot that's on the top of my head right now.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Nobody talks about it, but Dan, what do we got for the social media stuff?
You didn't listen to the show on Thursday then.
Is there a bald reference in there? I listened to like 15 minutes of it.
A few. There are a few bald
You must not have listened to the start.
Okay, I will go back and check that out on the Radio Replay page on 1620.com.
Please do. As always, for any sort of big game that people are going to get themselves up for, national championship tonight, these stars are out. Of course, Miami has their regular celebrities of a overly excited Michael Irvin.
Usually.
Or soon. I give it about another 2.5 to 3 minutes, and then he will be overly excited, barking like a dog on the sideline on all fours. Of course, Miami's son, DJ Khaled, another one, showed up. Famously from Miami, Fat Joe is there for Miami as well.
I think I was today years old when I learned that Fat Joe was from Miami.
He is not. He is from New York City.
Okay, I was like,
he is famously from the Bronx.
I was literally going to say I thought he was from the Bronx. I was just going to say that.
That was I was hoping that our listeners would pick up on that as well.
Yeah, I was like, what?
But
we had some breaking news.
Of course.
John, have you ever leaned back?
Probably.
Have you done the Rockaway?
My back hurts.
I have.
Dead.
Of course, the most famous alumnus from Indiana, Mark Cuban.
Alumner.
Is there for him as well.
That's
but
not a word.
There is one surprising one who's getting a lot of press right now. That is one gentleman by the name of Will Uzi Vert. You might be wondering, why is he rooting for Indiana? And it's because Fernando Mendoza has been giving him all of the plug. You know, when you become the Heisman Trophy winner and you win so many bowl games, people ask you a lot of questions. Like, what's in the headphones?
Is that the guy that looks like somebody scribbled on his face with a highlighter?
Yes.
That's several people these days. My question is, why did the guy with the camera ask him the question that weirdly? Why wouldn't you say, why are you rooting for Indiana?
Because it's...
Why are you tonight?
Because it's Ari Wasserman.
Oh, is it?
Holding the camera.
Okay, well, Ari Wasserman, you're a professional interviewer. Be better at your questioning.
He's not used to talking to people who aren't Andy.
It was
He's
just
in
a
the
really-
middle of college football
Dude,
season.
what are we buying or selling here, Dan?
No, this is the social media.
This
soundbite.
is social media.
Oh,
summit. This isn't
okay.
buy or sell.
All right.
This is the portion of the show
lost.
where we play the
I'm out.
clip from social
Later,
media.
guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here, John.
It's just really funny that like Lil Uzi Vert finally was like, all right, Fernando Mendoza has mentioned me like 1,000 times during his press cycle for the Heisman and for all these bowl games. I'm going to show up and I'm going to
That seems like
root for Indiana.
a real mismatch.
When they interviewed his brother, like they did like the, ooh, how much do you know about your brother? And they did like the two of them answering questions about each other. He was like, he's going to say Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi Vert is his like favorite musician of all time.
How is this possible?
Yes. You see the face of Fernando Mendoza and you immediately go, yeah, that guy likes trip hop. That guy's a hip hop fan. Thought you'd be listening to like Rachmaninoff in his headphones before a game.
I would have said like Jars of Clay or
I
something.
am very proud to say I have zero clue who Lil Uzi Vert is.
I only
sad.
know the name. I couldn't tell you one song or one lyric.
I am confident I've never heard the name Lil Uzi Vert until this very moment.
Really?
And I'm perfectly okay with that.
I think I've heard it in the context of this guy's really bad at rap.
Are you familiar with the Migos?
Story checks out. I am not. I know who they are. Is he one of them?
No, he is not.
Okay.
But he is. So when you
Have you ever heard of the Rolling Stones, Jimmy? He's unrelated.
Well, so he was on their song Motorsport.
How do you feel about
where he was
Elvis,
like,
Dan?
yeah,
he's
that
not.
way.
He's not a part of that. He's not a part of Elvis's crew either.
Actually, he is.
Oh, is he?
Some are saying that he is the modern day Elvis.
Nobody's saying that.
Do you know Billings, Montana? He's not from there.
Actually,
Can you confirm that?
actually, you're not going to believe this.
What is the likelihood that Lil Uzi Vert is from Billings,
He's
Montana?
not.
0.00%.
Where's he from?
He's from Philadelphia.
He is from Philadelphia. Good call, Dan.
So
This
I
guy
remember
doesn't look,
'cause
he doesn't
into-
look like he scribbled on his face.
Oh my
I
gosh!
guess I can
Are you
get this
kidding me?
guy. Yes,
Lil
he
Uzi
does.
Vert, when he started
All
out, he
right,
got into
we're
a bad
moving on
deal
to the
with
next
DJ
segment.
Drama. And
All right,
DJ
if you
Drama
missed the
screwed
social
him
media
over, and then he
soundbite
had to move
tonight,
to
wanna
Atlanta.
Find
Come
out who
on, you
was
guys
not
gotta
a
learn
part
about
of the
Vert.
Rolling Stones. You could do so on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. Tonight, it was brought to you by Recon Pest Services. When you're dealing with pests you don't want in your house other than your in-laws, you need to find out somebody that can prevent them from getting in and remove them when they make their way in. It's reconpestservices.com. Get over there if you've seen field mice around your house. Maybe you've seen a raccoon starting a nest where it shouldn't. Head over to reconpestservices.com. Get those pests out of your home tonight. We actually get to buy or sell on the other side of the break. 1620.
Finally.
Hey, but it's Jimmy Allen here for AX Plumbing. Home or residential, they can do it all. And I can tell you that from experience. They've installed a urinal in my business. They've helped water jet the main drain in my house out to the street because we're having backup problems. If you're buying a new home and you've got big time plumbing questions, or you've already been told there's big time plumbing issues, axpservice.com is the place for you. Nick and his team will come out. They'll diagnose any problems. They'll get them fixed before you even have major issues. Or if you've hit the point where there's a big time plumbing problem, but you don't have a big time plumbing budget, there's financing available at axpservice.com as well. Check out axpservice.com. Work with Nick and the team tonight.
Life is unpredictable, with seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner. You can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
Winter may slow pests down, but it's the perfect time to prepare your home for spring. Rodents, spiders, and other pests often show up indoors this time of year. A winter pest control checkup helps seal entry points now so you're not dealing with pests when warmer weather hits. At Recon Pest Services, we're proud to be a local company and supporting causes that make Omaha better. If you're looking for a pest control partner or even support for a cause, think Recon. Visit reconpestservices.com and get your home ready for a pest-free spring.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620, The Zone.
Top of the second hour here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. You don't become #1 in Omaha for over a decade by accident. Head over to pyramidroof.com. Get a free estimate for your windows, your roof, your gutters, your siding. They can do it all. Check out pyramidroof.com tonight. We've asked Dan to not give us any more musical facts tonight. By the way, you missed the whole like where I thought you were going with that segment. Not to get back off topic. Mark Davis is at the national championship game. That's just more further indication that
so is Tom Brady.
The Raiders are going to be picking Fernando Mendoza for the number overall pick.
I just thought Mark Davis was in Miami because that's where he goes all the time.
If I had Mark Davis money, I'd be going to Miami all the time. Also,
you'd probably have a better haircut. It's
debatable.
That is a
fair.
choice
That's
that
a good
man
point.
makes.
We're gonna allow you to ask buy or sell as long as there's no mumble rap related questions.
And this segment was brought to you by.
And we'll go to the next segment.
The largest news of the day. The voting for the NBA All-Star Game has come out, and for the first time in his career, LeBron James is not on the team. Buy or sell, King James is going to call it a career after this season.
Bro, your boy's out there practicing his golf swing and warm-ups.
Yeah.
It is over. Lakers find a way to trade him back to Cleveland for a wash machine, a bag of peanuts, or whatever Jackie Moon was trading for in semi-pro. Yeah, I don't understand why they gave him a max deal. It made 0 sense. It's over. It's a great career.
This is it. This is, and it needs to be. Like we don't need 50-year-old LeBron out there like hobbling around the court. Just so he's already got the longest career. Like he's broken the scoring record.
You're never getting to
you did it all.
championships.
You did it all, man. Like you're good. We're good.
Yeah, we don't need any more. I am legitimately concerned about like the popularity of the NBA though. Like numbers are at all-time down for like post 2020 2010. Like I don't know. It seems like a league that is very much in influx and searching for its face right
I don't hear the kids talking about Steph Curry like they used to.
who are they talking about? I don't like.
Yeah.
Wemby. I mean, if they're really into the NBA, they're talking about Wemby and Shea, and
that's the thing point I'm making is I don't know. There's a bunch of people that are really into the NBA these days. Like,
some people are like, well, so that's what I would like to know. I would like to go into like, and hear me out because this is only for anthropological and NBA purposes.
Really glad you're prefacing this.
Yeah, but I would like to like go into the average like 13 to like 17-year-old's room and be like, do you have posters on your wall? What are they of? Because when I was a kid, I had every single NBA player that had like a poster at the Scholastic Book Fair. Well, you know, the cool ones were at the Scholastic Book Fair. I had all of those, and I was like,
there's a Karl Malone joke in here somewhere. NBA players 13, 14.
Whoops.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
But I would like to just know how popular the NBA is. And also, LeBron James should hang it up. But once he does, the NBA is, to your point, Jimmy, going to be in a real pickle.
I think they already are. I think the LeBron mania is well past its peak. Like well past its peak. Steph Curry, like that.
I know that's a joke about me, and I hate
Steph
it.
Curry mania seems to be well past its peak. Shea, I don't think has the personality to kind of be that guy. Wemby, like, do you ever hear him talk? I don't.
Very
you know what I mean?
rarely.
It's like where Luka went to LA and that was a big saga, but now that he's in LA, it's sort of like what now?
Yeah, I'm all like I could give two rips about the NBA right now, and maybe it's because I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan. I've just been bitter since the Luka trade, but like, there's just no storylines in the league that intrigue me. Not one.
College basketball is way more intriguing.
I agree.
If I can make one more NBA point, because I know that our listeners love the NBA and love
Famously.
hearing us talk about the NBA.
Well, don't let it interrupt your WNBA conversation, Dan. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm not on the WNBA yet. We're
Okay.
in their off season, which we can talk about that at a very much later date when I write buy or sell in like a month or two. The one person who should
free
be the
not to.
face of the league right now is Anthony Edwards.
Doesn't want it.
Because he's the guy that, like, if the NBA was smart, they would be like, we're going to like publicize this guy because he plays basketball the old fashioned way, where it is just all trash talk, no like real diva behavior, and just wants to play ball. Like, he doesn't care at
And
all
technical
about the
fouls.
politics of any of it.
And foul out of games.
Yeah. Well, you got to foul out of games sometimes.
What else?
Do
You got,
you?
Dan?
You got to play hard.
Do you have any
John.
non-basketball related questions?
Actually, yeah, the rest of them are actually
Fantastic.
non-basketball
Let's get to
related.
those.
Well, I have a strange one for you too, and I'm going to ask that you stick with me through this.
Okay.
The NCAA transfer portal window is now closed and it will not open again. There is no spring transfer window. The only way for an
Allegedly.
athlete to switch schools is through the traditional route now. They would have to transfer to the school the traditional way and enroll in the college. Buy or sell, we're going to see a smattering of these more traditional quote unquote transfers.
So I think there's always gonna be some sort of loophole, and if
I mean, there is a loophole for this right now, currently.
exactly, so to think that you're ever gonna be able to put that toothpaste back in the tube, I think you're dreaming. I just don't think it's gonna happen. We've opened Pandora's box.
Oh, like, so I mean, once the semester ends, right? And it will be post spring ball. That's when you can like legitimately transfer schools, right? Like, you're not in the middle of the school year.
Correct.
So yeah, I think there will be guys that transfer in the summer. Of course there will.
Dan?
What are we talking about?
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too, because I read the there was an there was an athletic article that came out today that kind of pointed out this like little simple fact that they're like, there is no spring transfer window, but that's not going to stop schools from
Like, stop exactly nothing.
Yeah, it's just it's still going to allow these, like, you just can't technically recruit the kids anymore.
Well, they weren't supposed to be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
Good thing
but
tampering is
I-
illegal too. We should also make guns, drugs, and bombs illegal.
There's gonna be a bunch of kids that go through spring ball with their current team and go, whoops. And then in the sun, they'll enroll at a different school in the fall.
There were more quarterbacks in the portal than there were teams for them to transfer to. This is going to stop nothing.
Yes, there was.
Welcome to the circus.
We're just about 3 weeks away from the Olympics, and already problems are beginning to surface, specifically with hockey. The stadium is not done. The ice has been reported to not be the correct size, and NHL execs are not comfortable with those two prior facts. Buy or sell, the NHL and IOC will come to an agreement, and we'll see NHL stars on the ice in Milan Cortina.
Maybe they won't be exactly in Milan. There are other arenas in Europe that they could change the hockey venue to. Like, there are other, like, Austria's got hockey arenas, Switzerland's got hockey arenas, Germany's got hockey arenas. None of those places are all that far away from northern Italy. So even if it's not like done in the way that everybody's comfortable with playing there safely, they could move it off site somewhere else feasibly.
Well, and it's also the most widespread Winter Olympics in history. So it wouldn't be that out of bounds. I mean, there's going to be more venues at this Olympics game than any other Winter Olympics game ever recorded. So, I mean, they're basically already doing this. Are the people of Italy going to be offended? You probably shouldn't if you couldn't get the ice right, right?
Yeah, they'll come to some agreement that gets the players on the ice, because hockey is one of the like premier events of the Winter Olympics.
You could argue
It's
it's the
something
premier.
that, I mean, figure skating is probably up there too, but they'll figure it out.
wanted to be Apollo Ono when I was younger.
I met him before.
Cool.
Famously went to Northern Michigan University.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where they used to have the speed skating Olympic track to train for. Fun fact. So I don't think if you're number one, if you're NBC from the American perspective, and if you're the NHL, you're going to want to have this true headache on your hands of not allowing your players to go and play in the Olympics for their country. Because number one, hockey players love the heck out of anything that involves them playing for and representing their flag. And number two, NBC has already invested a lot of money into the commercials previewing the fact that USA, Canada at the Winter Olympics needs to be a thing.
The John Hamm commercial's great.
Oh, it's perfect. And I love we have a problem with them? We don't like Canada?
What else we got, Dan?
What did Canada do? Stuff.
The Miami Dolphins have decided on a new coach, and it's Jeff Hafley, the now former defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers. Buy or sell? This is a needle mover.
This is very much the fire the tall coach to hire the small coach. You fired a offensive mind in Mike McDaniel. You need to go get a defensive coordinator to follow that trend, I guess. I don't think this helps you solve your quarterback problem that you clearly have. I like Jeff Hafley, though. I think he's obviously got former head coaching experience, not necessarily at the pro level, but we all know
at Boston College.
We all know the Boston College story. I think it's really intriguing. I like the fit. I just remember how it went last time you hired a defensive-minded coach in Miami. Remember Brian Flores didn't really like that you fired him. It's gonna be interesting.
I don't know. We'll see. I think Miami's got bigger problems than who their head coach is.
Point.
So I don't know. Is this a needle mover? My initial gut reaction is sell.
I too am on a sell for this one, just in general. I like Jeff Hafley. Would have liked him to have stayed in Green Bay, obviously, but I just don't see a lot of stuff working out for Miami right now, and I don't think that a new head coach is going to be the thing that really saves them or their possible season.
Honestly, of all the defensive coaches that are available that have former head coaching experience, I'm really surprised that Robert Saleh wasn't the first call. He could have another job already wrapped up, and that might be why, but
Possibly.
I'm very surprised.
So we talked about, and this is my last question, by the way. We talked about this already, but the Browns have fired Kevin Stefanski after the season ended.
On a different show.
Black Monday.
Yeah, sorry.
Black Monday.
I thought you meant tonight. I'm like, I don't remember talking about this.
And we never addressed the other move he made. He's the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. Buy or sell, Stefanski can turn the Falcons into winners.
I like this fit. I feel like there's been a lot of offensive pieces that have needed an offensive-minded coach. I think you can make the argument that Kevin Stefanski kind of overachieved in Cleveland in certain years. But I also think there's a couple key pieces missing in Atlanta. Bye-bye.
Well, look, I don't know what Atlanta's doing as a franchise, to be honest with you. Like,
Running
Kirk Cousins,
day-to-day operations of a football program.
Michael Penix, what are we talking about? You know, you've got maybe the most, I'm going to say it, the most electric young running back in the league in Bijan Robinson.
Is it debatable? I didn't think it's debatable, right?
And you have a completely misused Kyle Pitts who has the potential to be one of the best tight ends in the league, and through his entire career has barely shown up in the stat book. I don't understand that. Finally started to get some use out of him this past season. I don't know. Stefanski finds himself in another situation where it's
kind of feels like he failed upwards, though.
We have institutional problems and decent players. It's this is Kevin Stefanski's cross to bear, apparently.
Just in general, I like the fact that Kevin Stefanski is the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, because I thought the Browns were stupid to let him go, as we touched on a little bit, after Black Monday, but golly, it seems like there are more problems than a Kevin Stefanski can fix in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Shout out Kirk Cousins in your massive contract.
Hey, if you missed Buy or Sell Tonight, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. You have big-time HVAC issues. Not really sure where to start at. Are you really worried? But when you have to turn your AC back on this summer because it was making some funny noises when you turn it off this winter, You need to get peace of mind about your HVAC. Head over to controlledcomfort.com. Get a maintenance appointment set up. Let Tony and the team come out. They'll replace your furnace filter for you when it's needed. They'll adjust the humidity to your furnace. Did you know you needed to do that? If not, head over to controlledcomfort.com tonight. Dylan Raiola, he's a Duck. What does it mean for him in the future? We'll debate. 1620 zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from KETV Newswatch 7.
Skies become mostly cloudy tonight. There is a chance we can see the northern lights if the clouds thin enough. Eventually low temperature down to around 10. And mostly cloudy for Tuesday. A little chilly with high temperatures in the low to mid 30s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Rainby from KETV Newswatch 7.
At Timber, they don't just give you a place to go for lunch or dinner. They give you an experience from their bold, smoky flavors prepared in the open concept kitchen where you get to watch the magic happen to the relaxing umbrella shaded patio. There's something for everyone at Timber. Join them for brunch every Saturday and Sunday from 9:30 to 2, plus happy hour from 2 to 5:30 Monday through Saturday and 2 to close on Sunday. Timberwood Fire Bistro in the heart of Omaha at 84th and Pacific.
Everyone at Controlled Comfort hopes you had a very Merry Christmas. But that doesn't mean that the gift giving has to stop. Get a full system for $3,000 off retail price. Get ready for the Nebraska summer heat now. Call Controlled Comfort.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Life is unpredictable. With seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner, you can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with the trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
Winter may slow pests down, but it's the perfect time to prepare your home for spring. Rodents, spiders, and other pests often show up indoors this time of year. A winter pest control checkup helps seal entry points now so you're not dealing with pests when warmer weather hits. At Recon Pest Services, we're proud to be a local company and supporting causes that make Omaha better. If you're looking for a pest control partner or even support for a cause, think Recon. Visit reconpestservices.com and get your home ready for a pest-free spring.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
7:23 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. You don't become number one in Omaha for over a decade by accident. Head over to pyramidroof.com. Get a free estimate for your windows, your roof, your gutters, your siding. They do it all. Check out pyramidroof.com tonight. Dylan Raiola has chosen where he's going to play the rest of next season at. He's going to head to Eugene, and he's going to back up Dante Moore, who's going to be a perennial number 1 first-round draft pick type player. That's the trajectory he's on right now. But anybody that follows me on social media knows what I said about this, but I want to have a conversation with you about this. I don't think Dylan's commitment to Oregon is about 2026.
Well, it can't be now.
Well, I think this is a way to go somewhere else, get a boatload of money, recover from a broken leg, get back up to speed, get fully healthy, and not have the weight of a program on your shoulders, and then visit the transfer portal again the following year. I don't think Dylan Raiola is going to take a single snap in Eugene.
Ooh. I don't think I agree with that. I don't know that Oregon, and maybe they don't have any say in the situation, but I have a feeling that just having Dylan Raiola and paying him to sit on your bench for a year would make some people quite unhappy.
Sure. But listen, if he comes in and gives you the full, I'm here, I'm committed spiel, I don't have a real reason to think otherwise, right?
Yeah. My whole thing was just the fit. Like, I never understood how he fits.
And that's, by the way, that's 100% why I feel this way.
In the Oregon offensive scheme. And maybe if he's better protected and they can adapt it to him and put, good receivers and have a solid running, maybe he works out there. Maybe they can cut the QB run stuff out enough.
Sure.
To make it work.
Change.
But that is a pretty drastic change from what Oregon likes to do. So, yeah, I question the fit. I don't think the reason that Dylan Raiola would never take a snap at Oregon is because he transfers just out of his own will. I think it would be because come the 2027-28 season, he didn't win the starting job. That would be the reason he doesn't take a snap at Oregon.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, you said if Oregon is willing to change their system up for Dylan Raiola, I have a hard time believing any program that has had the success that an Oregon has. I mean, they're the number 1 overall seed a year ago. They were a college football playoff team this year. That you would change your system for a player. Now, the catalyst that would be, why would they take him in the first place? And that's obviously the other side of that.
He has obvious arm talent. That's why you take him.
Right. And if he's available and maybe getting a discounted price because the market may not have been what he thought it was, and there's obviously the health part of it all. If he's not as healthy as he needs to be,
well, he's not going to be playing in spring ball.
There's a pretty limited market.
You don't know if you're going to have him even for the start of fall camp. So what is the market for that guy?
And you can't imagine it's very high. You got to wonder if that's why he sat in limbo for as long as he did and ended up in a backup role like he is now.
And, and there's some indications out there that Nebraska didn't really make an attempt to retain him.
Sure.
And you have to wonder also if that wasn't a financial decision because, again, you're not going to have this guy for spring ball. You don't know how many games you're going to not have him for in the fall. Can you afford to be, giving those kind of resources? And this is a ruthless new reality of college football. Can you afford to be spending the amount of resources they were on Dylan Raiola and know that you might not have him until game 6?
And the only proof of the pudding being that even if you do, all you have to go off of is he's a 7-5 quarterback.
Yes. And then what do you do in the meantime? Do you go out and spend the same amount of money to get a guy out of the portal? Do you just ride with TJ Lateef?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what you do because I don't think Anthony Calandria is coming here if Dylan Raiola is still on campus. Like,
not at all.
Yeah, you're not getting the attention of the perennial starting quarterbacks that you would need to go into next season with an attempt to improve your situation.
But
right?
I mean, this is the good side of the NIL and rev share is that players are getting paid. The ruthless side of it is that schools are now making business decisions, right?
So if I can pop in for a second, because I got interested when you were, Dylan Raiola in a backup role now for Oregon.
He's in a bench role because he can't walk.
It's in a crutch role.
He's going to sit out all of next season, no matter what, because he is injured and there's no way he's getting playing time. There's one thing that gives me a little bit more pause even than that. There's a gentleman on their roster right now
on
by
Nebraska's?
the name of Oregon, by the name of Akili Smith Jr. He is 6'5", 231 pounds.
What does dad do for a living?
I heard he played some sport with an oblong ball.
Not very long, but yeah.
Yeah.
The Bengals would like their money back.
They would, yes. But it seems like he's probably your quarterback in waiting, just hypothetically. I know you can give, Dylan Raiola has I have actually played football in the Big Ten kind of moniker there, but you're going to have a guy who's coming off an injury, will have not actually played physically the game of football for a full year, and you would just hand that guy the reins. And to John's point, he doesn't quite fit in what your offensive scheme has looked like historical, maybe ever.
I'm not trying to point fingers or allude to anything. You would find it really interesting that Dylan Raiola leaves, Danny Kaelin comes back. There could be nothing to that. It is a really interesting dynamic, though. I'll tell you this. Like,
sometimes the grass isn't always greener, though. I mean,
absolutely. But I'll tell you this, and Dan, you can attest this. That kid was in the studio twice. That kid being Danny Kaelin. The minute he walked out here, both times, I said, I don't know if that guy's the next Tom Brady. He's going to be somebody. And Matt Rule said that as much about. That's what his wife said when he was on the podcast. I've talked to Danny Kaelin a combined probably 30 minutes in my entire life. I find it very hard to believe that he's not going to be a CEO level achievement getter in his lifetime. And having a person like that in your quarterback room is going to go a long, long way.
I've said it multiple times on air and off air on this show that there are very few high school athletes when they finish an interview will go around the room after we take the picture and we'll shake everyone's hand, including mine.
Yeah. Most people don't want to touch you, so it's understandable.
Yeah, it's fair. I look diseased.
Ouch.
But Danny Kaelin is one of the few people
nice to know 26 hasn't changed you.
who went all the way around the room,
New year,
shook
same
everyone's hand, and thanked us all for our time. Plus, he's just such a super nice guy.
Somebody I don't know was just walking by the window. That was very weird.
Maybe we'll know him soon.
But
Did they have pants on?
I don't know. She was rather short, and I couldn't see.
That might be a problem.
But it's very surprising to me that there seems to be this contingency of Nebraska fans that are like rooting for Dylan to not succeed. Now, there's obviously the cynical side of sports, and that's why we love it. But
I addressed this on Thursday from my perspective.
You don't care, right? Like, you don't. Are you hoping he succeeds?
Well, my point was he conducted himself with the utmost class. He was never disrespectful
Publicly
to the media. He never had an off the field issue.
And I don't want to insinuate that he was disrespectful to anybody privately either. I'm just saying that we know of.
He only had good things to say. He promoted the heck out of the university.
Yep.
He recruited other players to come and play for the school. Like, why do you not like the guy? And plus, he dealt with the most amount of social media vitriol that you could possibly deal with the Temu Mahomes stuff.
Yeah.
And never seemingly let it bother him.
Not publicly, anyway. I mean, he never addressed it. So on its face, it didn't seem to.
What do you hate so much about that? Like, other than he chose to leave or chose to or was asked to leave. Like, why do you hate him?
I mean, it's the same conversation with Adrian, right? I mean, people were like, well, he picked K-State over here. And it's like, okay, well, it obviously worked out for both sides. So why do you care? Like, I don't think it says anything negative about Nebraska if Dylan Raiola goes to Oregon and wins 2 national championships. I think this is anything negative about Nebraska. It's just a better fit, and it worked out better in a different scenario in an already established program. I don't think that says anything negative about Nebraska.
I don't wish Dylan Raiola any ill. I hope he recovers from his injury. I hope he has a career at Oregon, and I hope he goes on and plays in the NFL because that's what he wants to do. I hope he fulfills those dreams. Like, honestly, he did nothing wrong by the University of Nebraska.
Did Sean McDermott do something wrong? The Bills think so. They fired their head coach. Was it the right move? We debate when we come back on the other side of the break. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Your big day coming up this year, the biggest day of your life. Do you want to be the sharpest dressed guy at your own wedding? It's only one place to make sure that happens. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, 78th and Dodge. They dressed me for my wedding. They dressed Dan Campinen for his wedding. Let them dress you for your big day. Head over to Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. They've been dressing Omaha for 50 years. The coaching carousel spins on in the NFL. We come back. 16-1 zone.
Hey, everybody, it's John Schreiner here for Railcar. Do you know where my favorite brunch spot currently is in the city of Omaha? It's at 144th and Blondo. What is that, you ask? Well, it's Railcar. I already said that. I'm surprised you didn't know what I was talking about. They have a tremendous brunch lineup, the Chilaquiles. If you like a little bit of the Mexican flavor mixed with the breakfast foods, you're going to love Chilaquiles. You got to get to Railcar this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 9 to 2. That's when brunch is available. That's when you can get yourself my favorite brunch item on their menu. And if you're extra hungry and you don't really mind whether it's the Chilaquiles or something else, go for the pile up. It's a giant pile of breakfast food all on one plate. If you walk out of there and you're not full, then I got news for you. You may have a problem. But either way, you get the savory, you get the sweet. They've got it all. Everything's good. You won't be disappointed. It's a great atmosphere. You can bring the kids. There's something for everybody. I promise you. You head to brunch at Railcar, you will not be disappointed. Get to 144th and Blondo this weekend for brunch at Railcar.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to getting more reviews, fixing maps to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $297 special offer. Visit fixmygbp.com for more details.
Hey, Jays fans, it's hoop season, and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vests, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no-obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Contractors. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Contractors come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
$7:38 on a Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. Over a decade of being #1 in Omaha doesn't happen by accident. Head over to pyramidroof.com. Get a free estimate for your windows, your roof, your gutters, your siding. They do it all. Check out pyramidroof.com tonight. 3-0 in the national championship game. Hopefully you were smart enough to hammer the under tonight. These two defenses are really good.
We all predicted the over.
Sean McDermott was let go of his duties in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this with CJ Stroud earlier. Very rarely do NFL franchises decide to move on from the quarterback. Got a pretty good one there in Buffalo. I feel comfortable in saying that was Josh Allen's worst performance in a big game scenario in his career. That fumble where he kind of seemingly just accidentally threw it backwards on that third down run. We've already talked about the last interception, but the first interception wasn't really great. Not many of them usually are. But I just felt like he was very underwhelming. Dan, I know you got thoughts on running the ball on first down and Sean McDermott's play calling, but it kind of felt like it was a Super Bowl or bust year for Buffalo before the playoffs got here, before the lack of Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. It kind of felt like you needed to have a prove it year with this quarterback and this coach combination. Well, and it kind of felt inevitable when things didn't go well for Buffalo.
Here's what I'm going to reiterate something I said when you were gone. We see this often where there's a team who's really good but can't seem to quite get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
And in these situations, the brass at the college, professional, franchise, whatever it is, says, we got a good coach. We need a great coach.
Yeah.
We need the guy who can get us over the hump. How often does that work?
Very, very, very rare.
Almost never.
Yeah.
Right? I honestly think that the impatience when you have a something good going on sets teams back more often than it helps them. There are rare cases where that is a correct assessment, that like we have the missing piece is the coach, and it works. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't happen most of the time.
Sometimes Mike Vrabel falls in your lap.
Sometimes Mike Vrabel falls into your
Foxborough.
lap. Once in a while. Not often. What happens more often is
you get somebody worse.
We hire the next coach. We either don't get any better or we get remarkably worse. And then, well, our quarterback's getting a little older now. Might be time for a rebuild. Let's burn it all down.
Well, and think about listen, it's an NFL franchise, so there's an attraction level. But if you're talking about those top guys, yeah, everybody wants a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Everybody wants an elite quarterback. And that's what you're going to get in Baltimore and what you're going to get in Buffalo. Those elite quarterbacks are another year older. They couldn't do it in their, quote, prime, where I think Lamar's starting to get past that. Josh Allen's probably about there right now.
I think Josh Allen's still well in his prime. Lamar's still in his prime.
The injuries are starting to pile up, and that's the only reason I say that about Lamar Jackson. But I just wonder, how many people are worried about going to the place with the quarterback that gets the coach fired? You know what I mean? Because that's essentially what those two guys are right now, because they're both not Super Bowl winners. One guy, Lamar Jackson, maybe not his fault, but got a coach fired. And Josh Allen, when you have that level of quarterback, the expectations clearly are bring a ring to our city or get out.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with John, just on the simple point that firing Sean McDermott is not the needle mover that you think it's going to be, because for the last few years.
Well, if the 9/11 comments didn't do it.
Yeah, no matter what has happened within that kind of Buffalo team, they've always been a little bit on this shaky ground with a will they, won't they kind of style, it always seemed. Because there was always, they had huge boom potential, but they also had huge bust potential. Because they never really, outside of really James Cook, they never really put a ton of really super efficient offensive pieces around Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which direction they go. Well, do they go with innovative coordinator? Do they go with head coaching experience? If you're going to fire Sean McDermott, you better go.
Kind of surprised it wasn't John Harbaugh. I'm a little bit, because that's clearly.
I mean, he'd already made his.
I know, but I mean,
he'd already made his mind up for the Giants.
I agree, and obviously that decision was made. But when that happened, when he got fired from Baltimore, my first thought was, oh, well, if Sean McDermott doesn't make the Super Bowl this year, that's clearly the guy they're going to go get. But
I don't think that's the right play for Buffalo. If you're going to fire this guy, you need to have a totally different, novel, creative solution. You can't don't bring in Mike McCarthy because he's won a Super Bowl before.
Kind of feels like that's what's going to happen, though.
That is absolutely flawed and bad thinking. Go get a young, up-and-comer, creative, offensive mind who can totally throw a wrench into the works and flip something. If you're firing Sean McDermott, you better be super creative. Don't do same old, same old.
That's going to be a real tough sell. If you're selling Mike McCarthy to the folks in Orchard Park, that's going to be a real tough sell. But listen, I think that's who your next head coach of the Buffalo.
It's not going to work.
I agree 100%.
It's a bad decision.
It's the James Franklin 2.0 thing. Okay, what's good enough? And have you thought about what could be worse? Because both of those conversations? Don't really seem like the answer is yes.
The Cowboys already did this.
Yeah.
They already did this. They fired Jason Garrett because they were just like not quite getting over the hump.
See, I think
and they brought in Mike McCarthy, and what happened?
I think they fired Jason Garrett because Jason Garrett's an annoying person. I think that had more to do with it than win-loss records of Dallas. Not an annoying person, and a guy that I'm really intrigued by is Mike Tomlin. Sounds like he's going to go the TV route, a la his mentor, Bill Cowher. I didn't realize this. He's 4 years older than Bill Cowher was.
Yeah,
when
Bill Cowher was
retired.
like 50 when he quit.
Yeah. Surprisingly, he walked away when he did.
Tomlin?
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Maybe
no.
it wasn't as mutually parting of ways as it was reported.
I think that Pittsburgh gave Mike Tomlin the opportunity to leave gracefully.
Sure.
And he took it. And probably it's best for both sides at this point.
Does it look like Kurt Cinetti always has to poop?
Not as much as Mike Brown, former
fair
NBA coach.
He always looks nonplussed.
That's maybe more way.
Like he just always looks like he's just like he just got done going.
Yeah,
because he did.
Yes. Yeah. You think Tomlin ever coaches again?
He might be one of those guys who goes and does TV for a couple years, and then there's some job that lures him out.
That's been kind of everybody's response to that. He seems like a dude that really cares about his legacy.
Yeah.
And really loved being a Pittsburgh Steeler. I'm going to be kind of surprised if he ever coaches again.
I'd put it at a coin flip right now, probably.
Do you, one more question before I ask you about Lamar and Josh Allen. Is there anybody that would want the Arizona Cardinals job?
No.
I don't know what you're getting.
Well,
like that, you got a bad franchise, you got bad ownership, you got a fan base that doesn't care. You don't know your situation at quarterback.
I'll tell you what you've got, though, is you've got a house that's stripped down to the studs, and you can rebuild it any way you want.
You also got 75-degree weather all year at the minimum.
So for somebody who, fancies themselves a builder,
yeah,
this is your opportunity to build. You've got basically a blank slate. You can. I don't think there's anybody on the roster who's untouchable.
Sure,
right?
You can build it in your own
You
image.
can build this thing any way you want.
Who do you think is your next Bills and Ravens head coach? You got any names?
Man, that Ravens. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it. I don't know that. I think the Ravens are going to want someone who's got that head coaching experience because they feel like they're right on the precipice. You've got an aging Derrick Henry. You've got a Lamar Jackson who's like sort of right on the tipping point.
Does Cliff Kingsbury interest you at all with Lamar Jackson in that offense?
Not as a head coach. I think we've proven that Cliff Kingsbury is a great OC and not a very good head coach. I think if there's a head coach out there who can bring on Cliff Kingsbury and put Lamar Jackson into the system, that's really interesting to me.
I think Clint Kubiak is a guy that's going to get
Kubiak. Yeah,
Kubiak. Sorry, yes. Kubiak is going to be a guy that a lot of people are going to kick the tires on because of his success with obviously Sam Darnold being able to get the run game running over in Seattle. What I call him, Kubiak?
Yeah,
Kubiak. Is a guy that's going to get a ton of interest. I just don't know if you can go the coordinator route and not have a guy that's at least been a head coach in those two positions specifically.
Yeah, honestly, for Baltimore right now, I might be looking at Sean McDermott.
Would be interesting, right? I mean, he's a guy that's had a ton of success, and he's shown you that he can work with a mobile quarterback too, and I think that's and that's why it's intriguing to me. I don't know. There's a lot still to shake out. I know there's still 2-3 pretty important football games left to be played in the NFL season. I'm just still surprised we haven't seen more dominoes fall.
Do you have a name for Buffalo?
I mean, it's everybody already kind of named. Like that's the thing that's so interesting about those two jobs is they almost feel kind of interchangeable for the guys that you could hire.
Yeah.
So I think putting the focus on the quarterback is really good for both of these teams, and thinking who can work with a Lamar and who can work with a Josh Allen. I would posit something for this Baltimore job, though. Why not, if you are Baltimore, look at a more defensive-minded head coach? You've got a defense that has a potential in it that needs probably just like one swift kick in the rear to really get them working on a level that would make a lot of NFL teams go, oh, the Ravens are kind of scary again.
Yeah.
And if you're that ownership group and that GM group, you've seen that work before. By strengthening your defense, you were able to have checks notes Trent Dilfer at quarterback and win a Super Bowl.
Seemed to work out for him.
So I would maybe like the Robert Saleh pick that you said earlier, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting one for Baltimore to go with, to hire a guy who has head coaching experience, is fairly defensive minded, and took that, little sabbatical in Green Bay to try and understand offensive coaching a little bit more, but doesn't need a full hand holding on the offensive side of the ball, but can kind of give up those reins to another person and say, I'm going to let you cook that side of the ball. I'm sticking with the defense.
It could be like, listen, I think that'd be a really bold move, especially in Baltimore, because I think that tells you like what the longevity with Lamar is too. Well, we'll get into all that and more as the show rolls on. We'll close it out with our closing arguments, courtesy of Bob Williams. We come back. If you missed this segment, check it out on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It's brought to you by Paul Davis Restoration. Listen, it is going to continue to get colder and colder outside, and that eventually means you could be dealing with a pipe bursting in your house. If that happens, or if you're worried about it, save this number, 402-553-0373, to work with a company the level of Paul Davis Restoration. They'll come out and restore your home to the way it was before any of the damage happened, whether it be water damage, smoke, mold, mitigation, whatever you need. Paul Davis can help you out to restore your home to the way it was before the damage occurred. 402-553-0373. Call that number or save it for an emergency tonight. We'll be right back. Closing arguments, the other side of the break. 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Recon Pest Control Services. Listen, you always need somebody you can trust. We got to a point this summer. We had 2 other pest control companies come out to our backyard and spray for wasp. You know what happened within the next 48 hours? The wasps returned to our yard. The third call, it was Recon Pest Services, and I'll never make another call to another pest service company again. They came out and they sprayed our yard. We didn't see a wasp since then. That was back in May. We haven't had a critter in our backyard since then. If you're having big-time pest problems, call Recon Pest Services or stop by their website at reconpestservices.com tonight.
Everyone at Controlled Comfort hopes you had a very Merry Christmas. But that doesn't mean that the gift giving has to stop. Get a full system for $3,000 off retail price. Get ready for the Nebraska summer heat now. Call Controlled Comfort.
For all your home and business needs, Control Comfort is here to please. Control Comfort keeps it under control.
Life is unpredictable. With seasonal storms and plumbing issues hiding around every corner, you can't predict the future. So when life happens, go with a trusted, reputable company like Paul Davis Restoration. Fire, water, mold, or storm damage can all be restored by Paul Davis Restoration. Don't live in the aftermath of tragedy. Restore your home today. Call Paul Davis Restoration at 402-553-0373 today.
Hey, Jays fans, it's hoop season, and you know what that means. Jerry Ryan has the best selection in town for all things Creighton gear. Stop by Jerry Ryan at 78th and Dodge for your quarter zips in all shades of Jays blue, plus jackets, vest, winter coats, you name it. They have it. Multiple Jays options for men and women from Peter Millar, Cutter and Buck, and Johnny O. Stop by Jerry Ryan Clothing and dress like the coaches do.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Winter may slow pests down, but it's the perfect time to prepare your home for spring. Rodents, spiders, and other pests often show up indoors this time of year. A winter pest control checkup helps seal entry points now so you're not dealing with pests when warmer weather hits. At Recon Pest Services, we're proud to be a local company and supporting causes that make Omaha better. If you're looking for a pest control partner or even support for a cause, think Recon. Visit reconpestservices.com and get your home ready for a pest-free spring.
If your brand isn't generating you business, well, it's losing. That's where Sign Ovation steps in. We help Omaha businesses win the visibility game with bold storefront signs and vehicle decals that turn your ride into a rolling billboard. Your brand should be working, even when you're not. Driving impressions, creating leads, and bringing customers through the door. Stop riding the bench. Put your brand in the game. Visit OmahaSignsAndWraps.com tonight. That's OmahaSignsAndWraps.com. Sign Ovation, where brands show up and win.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Closing her down on a championship Monday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. Head over to pyramidroof.com. Get a free estimate for your windows, your roof, your gutters, your siding. They do it all. Check out pyramidroof.com tonight. It's time for our closing arguments. We're going to give you a hot take here to wrap up the show. Put a poll up on Twitter. You'll vote for whoever had the best closing argument. The fewest votes will have the losing argument for the night. We do have 2 poll questions currently up at After Hours 1620. The first one is it funny that Lil Uzi Verts is in Miami? A resounding, 85% have said no. And the other question is, do hockey players like playing for their country? 5 votes in. 100% of them have said yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
John, you want to go ahead and close this out?
All right. We are entering into a new golden age of college football. You heard the doomers say that NIL and rev share and conference realignment was ruining the sport, that it was doomed, it was dead. They were wrong. And they're going to continue to be wrong. These people who stand on the rooftops and shout about the falling of the skies of college football are wrong, and they're going to continue to be wrong. What NIL and rev share has done is actually what it was intended to do.
I like the steak.
It has leveled the playing field to some degree. Now, is Miami of Ohio going to win a national championship? Probably not.
Never say never.
Is New Mexico State going to win a national title? No, probably won't. But those 2 teams could make the playoff. Those 2 teams could make the playoff and win a game. That could happen. The hope is alive for more college football teams than has ever been before. This is going to create new levels of fan engagement across the sport. It's going to create new levels of interest. And it's going to put more eyeballs on the product on all of the multitude of television options that we have now. The golden age of college football, the new golden age, starts right now.
I'm going to kind of double down on that in a way, but it kind of goes back to more what we were just talking about in the last segment. I think this is going to create more stars because of the parity that goes across college football, which leads me to tell you, Curt Cignetti will not finish out his career in Indiana. The NFL will. I know his age. I know how long of a career he's probably got left. Curt Cignetti will coach in the NFL before he retires from the profession. Dan?
Right.
Interesting. If you are not, I would encourage you. I know football season is in its waning days right now, currently, specifically in the college game. It is in its waning hour. So maybe it's time to flip over those TVs to a little bit of this sweet, sweet sport we call the round ball. Yes, if you're not watching college basketball this season, you might be a fool. Catch a Nebraska game. If you haven't already hopped on that train and bandwagoned up and pretended that you truly cared about Nebraska basketball for the last 15 to 20 years, I applaud you. Now's the time to jump on that bandwagon. And also, if there's any chance you have right now to catch a Miami of Ohio basketball game, you should watch that.
Still
too.
undefeated.
And of course, the other undefeated team, you need to be watching Arizona basketball. When I tell you this is maybe one of the most technically sound basketball teams that I have ever seen, and wildly unselfish. I kid you not, it is worth your time to be watching the Arizona Wildcats right now.
That's going to do it for the show. If you missed any of the show tonight, catch it on our radio replay page on 1620thezone.com. It was brought to you by Bob Williams of Williams Law. If you're facing a DUI charge, or maybe your son or daughter is in a little bit of hot water and you're wondering what your legal rights are, head over to williamslawllc.com tonight. Bob and his team will give you a free, no obligation legal consultation. They'll walk you through your rights, explain what you can expect for your big day in court, and get you ready for your time in front of the judge. Head over to williamslawllc.com. Tonight, for Dan Capen, John Schreiner, I've been Jimmy Allen. Happy National Martin Luther King Day, everybody.
The dream is not dead.
Rail Cars Happy Hour is here.
Stop by 144th and Blondo Monday through Saturday from 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from 2 to close, and enjoy $2 to $5 off appetizers, $1 off draft and bottles of beer, and delicious ciders. All signature cocktails are $10. Classic cocktails are $8. And every glass of wine is $2 off. Plus, Rail Car's incredible brunch menu is on display 9:30 to 2 Saturday and Sunday. Rail Car Modern American Kitchen, 144th and Blondo.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and